Hello, good evening and welcome to our Sunday night Stampin' with Sandra. So I have had a bit of a rushed night tonight. I've been at a pop-up studio all week, so we had to wrap up and pack up all the tables and everything today. So I was a bit late getting back and had a rushed tea, have a cup of tea Maria has brought me here, and I'm ready to give you an interesting pattern. So let's get the camera just lined up here, ready to go down onto the table. And I'll bring my colours on for today's challenge. Hi Lynette, lovely to see you. So today we are going to be using, I don't know what, I've got a little arrow up here. I don't know what that one's for. So just click done and get rid of it. That's it, that's disappeared. So you'll saw from the sketch that I put up, I'm just going to pop that across. You'll see that I'm going to be using those colours as a sketch. Hi Jackie, lovely you could join us. So I'm using this as a sketch challenge because I needed something quick as soon as I got in. The car is not unpacked. I think I've grabbed as much as I need to use tonight, but I couldn't find my little trimmer and it was kind of essential for tonight. So that was why I was a little bit late. But these are the three colours we're going to be using, and we can use with those, we can use, where's the camera? Do you want that one, that one, that one, that one. There you go, I'm going to bring you back down. So we have Pacific Point, Pale Papaya and Sahara Sand. Now with these colours, we can, with a challenge like this, we can use neutrals. So I can use a white, I can use a black. So kind of in my head up here, I have what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to take a piece out of this, whatever size. Quarter sheet is kind of quite good. That would be about that. So I can just chop that down a little bit. Because I hadn't unpacked everything, I was desperately trying to find my trimmer, and I'm going to do that the same size as this one. So just to make it easier, we'll get them all started off nice and even. So that's a quarter size. So we'll have that one, take that to quarter. Okay, we're going to trim it down anyway. It's going to be all over the place. But have we got any tapestry people on here with us? Any tapestry bods? Okay, because that could be quite interesting. This is something I've done in my sewing days. So when I was doing embroidery and etc. So it is a sewing technique. I'm going to lose those off the table, and then I'm going to bring these three pieces back. Okay, so they are our challenge pieces. Oh, lots more joining us. There you go. It must be because I said interesting pattern. Hey, something a bit different. So what is really important to me now is I needed my little trimmer. I don't want the great big one. It takes too long. So I'm going to put this in here. Now, I want to make lots of small strips. Now, I think because of today's topic, I'm going to make these into 1 centimetre strips. If I did little strips, I would be here all night, and I don't want to keep it that long. So I'm going to take this down. So on a trimmer, any trimmer, if I zoom that in a little bit for you, that might help. Wrong way, that way. So you can see a little bit closer what I'm doing. Remind me to zoom out again. Hi ladies, lovely to see you. And we have America. Yes, lovely. Rhonda, Adele. Oh, that's lovely. So I start on my trimmer, I start with a whole number. So in here, I'm going to start, I've taken it down to the 10 centimetres. When you want strips all the same size, get them out of the way so they don't confuse. When you want strips all the same size, it's easy to start with your whole number and then come down. This is really cute with the 1/2 centimetre sizes, but for today, I'm just going to start you off with the whole numbers. So I'm just wondering whether I want this to be long ways or short ways, but I'm just going to do this and we will make whatever we make with it. So on the 10, I'm now going down to 9 centimetres, down to 8 centimetres, down to 7 centimetres, down to 6 centimetres. As you get down to your smaller numbers, you might want to just check that it's not just slightly kinked off. When you've got a bigger area at the top here to keep it straight, it's easier. So I like to look at the bottom of my trimmer as well. The small trimmer is gorgeous. Unfortunately, it was a limited edition. Being a demonstrator, we were allowed to purchase one, but it was actually a joining, a Stampin' Up joining offer that when you signed up at a particular time, you got one of these for free. Now, when I get down to this next bit, I am kind of winging it because I know where to go for 1 centimetre. It's going to be half of this width. So I'm just going to take that a little bit over and there, and I know that that should be good. Okay, so that is one colour done. We are going to need to have all the colours. So again, I start off with a whole number. So get rid of that little bit because that'll just confuse you. You know me, I keep all my scraps, so they do come in handy. Cut that at 9, then 8. Sorry, it might be vibrating the screen a little bit. Try not to. We have had some really bad thunderstorms. I'm sure a lot of people have, but I drove home down the A11 and I was driving towards these storms, and all I could see, the whole sky every now and again lit up, and it was kind of like an orangey colour. It was in the middle of the clouds and it was just lovely to see. You could see these flashes of colour and the whole sky light up. It was lovely. And luckily I got indoors and got what I needed to bring in, essentials, in the dry before the heavens opened. That's that one more to go. Again, I'm just going to wing this. I know half of that strip. I can see both sides of this strip and I know where that's going to go, and then make sure it's the same gap there. Okay, so that's the 2 colours. Now we're left with the Sahara sand. So move those along. Take that down to a whole number. Again, so we've got 10, 9. Nothing like an orange glow. No, you're right, Rhonda. It was lovely. But driving towards it, it didn't disappear because it's a really straight road. And coming out of Norwich, it's just straight towards Bedford, and then if you keep going, it's London. So it's, yeah, quite as big as your roads, but it is just a straight road. So I was driving towards it, so I couldn't miss anything. It was just right in front of me all the time. But luckily it was in the distance, and then when I got home, obviously was coming this way. So just slice these. Now, did we have any embroiderers, any sewing people who do sewing and embroidery, hand stitching? I haven't seen anybody on there. So this I'm going to get to in a second. I'm going to get a piece of grid paper and we're going to stick this onto the grid paper, but in a pattern. We're going to use it wisely. So there's my 3 colours, and I'm going to bring on for tonight, I'm going to bring on my pad of the grid paper for this is small grid paper. It fits in our Stamparatus. Okay, so I'm going to take one of those off there and use that. In fact, change that. I'm going to use it on the mat, I think, on here. It might be easy. So what we're going to actually do, we're actually going to stick these down onto the paper. You're not going to see them. I'm just going to work out which way I want to do this. We're just going to stick them in straight strips. I've got to remember how to do this because I've not done it for a while. We're going to stick these all together, okay? And then we'll, yeah, that's right, and then we do another pattern. So let me get my Tombow. Okay, and it's going to be quick. I'm going to turn this on a side because I am right-handed. So I'm going to just scratch along here. Let's get this. Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Not. I shook it to get it to the end and it splashed out on my hand. Okay, so we've got 10 centimetre length. Once I get one down, it'll be easier. You know what? That's a bit bludgy. I'm just going to spread this over. This is just to get the first strip down. I think this is coming to an end, this one. So starting there, we want to go up to including there. Okay. So I'm going to pop that one down. We're going to use the grid paper as a backing paper. Now, why I'm leaning on here is if you have one sheet of paper, it's going to keep moving. Okay. So now I've got one down, like so. We know where we're going to go. We're just going to alternate these coming all the way down. Can you see that mess on there? Just on the end of my glue. I'm going to have to just spread this, and I can literally just scribble now because I know what I'm going to do, and it's going to come, as long as it's down on the edges, in my little pot back. So I'm just going to come alternating these strips along here. Stripsers? Where was that word from? Okay, so it's quite quick when you get going. Okay, just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I like to do different techniques. I haven't done this for a long, long while. But it's good for colour challenges because it's going to keep you on track. Okay, you with me? You found that the glue does that when I'm at the first, at the bottom, and the end. I don't notice it so much at the beginning because it's lovely, but I find the end is awful. The end of the Tombow ends are like that. There we go. So we've run out of space, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, do another few rows. So if I come like that, scribble over those, make sure I catch the ends. So we're doing these alternating. Anybody guessing? It's cross stitch. Who's put only cross stitch? Yeah, it's not cross stitch, Lynette, but it's an interesting one. These are big long stitches. So if you imagine these are being our long stitches. But we're going to chop this up again. And that one. Keep me same pattern. Hello, hello. Hello, Janice. Lovely to see you. So I'm making an interesting pattern, and this will all make sense. So it's a colour challenge, and it's a great way just to work on 3 colours and just keep it going. And it's always the colour that's furthest away from you, so it's 3 colours. Just keep going. We will be trimming this down, but there will be no waste. Okay. We can do another one on here, another couple on here. Okay, a blue one. The grid sheet is just acting as because it's a paper, it's very thin, so it's not going to, you're not going to see it. It's just like a backing sheet. If you wanted to, you could use photocopy paper and just have it as a thin piece, or junk mail even. But I like the grid paper for this because it's squares, and especially because I'm doing it to 1 centimetre. If you're in the States, you could use inch. Use the inch side because it is both sides. So like so, okay? So we've got that all on there like so, and we're going to tear that off. There we go, done. So these pieces won't waste, they will go towards another piece later. Okay, I kind of want to let that set just a little bit. Okie doke. Are you all with me? Keep that straight on the screen for you so you don't get dizzy. I've got a little bit sticky mitts here, so I'm just going to grab a wet wipe. And you could see the state of my room. We all have messy craft rooms, but it's half decanted out of a car. And tomorrow, I'm not doing it tonight in the rain. Tomorrow I will be emptying the car and rebuilding my room. I have empty windows. I have all my wooden shelves are in the car. So looking quite bare, but I have a lovely fire going. Right, that's my clean mitts. Okay, so that should have dried by now. I'm going to trim this down a little bit. This won't go in my little trimmer, and I would really like to go this way with it. So I'm going to take a little bit off, okay, and just cut between those strips so it goes in the trimmer. So I'm going to cut, that line is down the middle there. I'm going to cut that piece off. That can all be used. Everything can be used. Okay, and I'll use this as my benchmark. So this is my benchmark along the top here. And I'm going to take a straight edge. So you're going to take off your little end bits, okay, and just pop them in the bin. And then from there, you can trim all of these so it's nice and even. So right along that bottom edge. Okay. Any guessing games? Scraps of old card, yeah, that's fine, Rhonda. That then makes it a little bit thicker. So when you're trimming it, that's all. I'm just going to chop those little bits off. So we got rid of all those wispy little bits. Okay. Now, have any of you heard of a technique called bargello? And don't go Googling it. You're going to watch. Hi, Sandra, you're back again. So what we're going to do here is we're going to now go through and we're going to cut these strips. So again, I need to have an anchor line. So my anchor line here is my largest measurement is 10. So I can cut some more strips from those, but we're going to now cut these strips being the other way. So we're going to have these like so. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same again. So we're cutting through all the cardstocks and the paper underneath. Oh, one's fallen off. It's not a problem. We can just put a little dot of glue on there and we can pop him back with some tweezers. They're safe. Okay, this should be a cube and one side is tacky because it has been on there and fallen off. You could use the spreader side of your Tombow. You know, the wide end on here has a spreader end. I don't use that very much at all. There's just one technique I use that for. We might do that again soon. It is on YouTube. I have done YouTube with it, but not for a while. Okay. So the power is off. Yeah, oh look, it's done it again. It probably is a good idea with this one to use the spreader end because there will be bits when I've scribbled I might have missed little pieces like this. Okay, move them along. They don't have to be kept in the same order because they should be straight and the same width. Okay, now this can be as much or as little as you want it to be. You don't have to have a big piece. Bargello with seed beads on a needle holder. No, not that one. It's a form of a pattern. You'll see it when I've just got these strips done. And you'll see what I mean. Just lining those up. Okay. And then this one again. But it's a good way of using up scrap strips. I love my scraps and I don't like to waste anything. I try to be ruthless. I don't always win. So coming back to this piece, whatever the width is on there, that way around. No, it is that way around. This one at the top. It's a little whisper of paper on there, so I'm just going to take that hairline off. Just a really, really tiny piece. And carry on. So where are we? We need to go to 4. Okay, 4 centimetres. That little narrow piece can come out. That was the end. We can use that. Down to 3. Evening, whoever that is just come. Oh, hi Claire. Okay. And do this. Like I said, I've not done this for a long while, and it is something I did as tapestry sewing. But it works with card as well. If any of you have this little trimmer, a rule of thumb on here is for the 1 centimetre, you've got the 2 centimetre mark there. If I get the light off the camera, where the screw head is, on the left-hand side of that screw head, that is virtually your 1 centimetre. So that's where you kind of want to be heading for your screw head. Just there, okay? So you're just covering that left-hand side of your screw head. There's one in the middle, but this one here, I'm not meeting down as far as that. But as long as it's straight. There we go. This little trimmer is much easier to use for this technique. So now we're going to take that other piece that I had earlier and I'm going to lay it out so you can see what I mean. So we're going to start off with one piece wherever we want to start. Okay. And then we're going to change the pattern. So we're going to move this. Okay. And we can zigzag this as much as we want. So we can just make a pattern that you're happy with. And as you come along here, you will see your pattern moving across. Okay, so can you see that pattern? And then you can do so many along and then you can come back. So you can bring that back along. and then back again. Always keeping the strips the same way, so you've got that pattern coming and that pattern. It will be the same on both sides. So then this one, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you come back up again. Can you see that pattern? It looks good on the camera actually, like so. So you can keep that going. Now, it's up to you what size piece of card you want to do. You can put this onto a piece of card, or again, I can stick it down onto the grid paper, then trim that, neaten the edges up. But you can leave it with a zigzaggy top and bottom or side. We might just put a little panel of this through the middle here. Okay, we do need a benchmark to start with. So what I'm going to do is grab a ruler and a pencil if I can find a decent one. So that's my layout. Can you see where we are? We've got some spare strips as well. So I'm going to leave those off camera. So I'm going to do this directly onto the card because I think it will be nice onto here. But I want you to take a vote with me. Will this look better on a white card base or on a black card base? I'm just going to prep this for you, just a sec. Cut that one and store it off camera. 10.5. There we go. So if I do you a black and a white and tell me which is going to look better. Bone folder. Now I might start having some more new faces because I had a lot of people that have been visiting the pop-up studio this week, particularly the last couple of days. Now, do you think this pattern will look better on a black or on a white? Who's ahead of Christmas Day? Done a mosaic pattern. If you're on trims, got 100 times using scraps. Absolutely, Rhonda. Yes, we're all on Pinterest, aren't we? I think it's going to look nice on here. The only trouble I've got is the fact that I'm going to run out of space. So it's going to, the zigzag will come in and come out again. So I will, with hindsight, I could have done this shorter. So I've got this size card. So I want to make the little pieces gradual. So I could just have this very, very, very slightly like so, and then bring those in. I think it's more striking on the black. You want, I'd go white. You've got 2 blacks and 2 whites at the moment. So if I do that very, very gradual, you're going to have a benchmark to start with. And then you're going to come, if you have 3 coming down, 4 coming down. I could like to kind of go halfway in the middle. See, these ones will then go off the edge of your paper. What should we do? What should we do? And then we'll come back up the other side. I'm tempted to stick it down onto the paper, I think. You can carry on voting on your black and white. I'll count you up in a minute. So I'm going to stick these down on here, and then I'm going to square it off, and we'll have a panel in the middle of a card with a background on the back. Okay, so if I just start with this, and I'm just going to stick on 1 strip. We just need a benchmark to start with, just like we did in the first place. We're going to have that along there. Angela, I'm surprised to see you on here. When's your retreat starting? I know you've got one coming up. It's imminent, isn't it? So now we've got a benchmark. We've got one down there. We can literally come along half a strip, okay, in the middle of that strip and move it along. Okay, then we can come down half a strip again and move it to the end of that one. It's up to you how you like to work, if you like to work top to bottom or right to left. Okay, a little bit of glue in there. One more, so half on that one. It's a really nice pattern technique, and if you've got just a few scraps to use up, it is a great way of doing it. So there's my 4 pattern. Okay, now I'm going to start coming back again. Sorry, it's awkward for me to do it square onto the screen, but I'll try. It's like writing when you write and you write that way. So plop that one in there. The pattern starts coming back again. So half of this one and along to half of that one. Okay, so you'll get that pattern coming through. And then we'll go to the top of this one. That's a little bit of a generous one. See if we can slide that down. Not quite. That one's on the end. And that gives you that pattern coming along. And then we'll 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll come down half of this one and ziggy-zang along to half of the next one. Are you keeping up with me? It's an easy one to do once you know how to do it. So coming back again. And it's going to hang over to the end. There we go. Half of that one. And half of that one. Okay, but you can do as much or as little as you like. That would kind of do top to bottom, but we're going to trim that down. And all of these pieces, I can do another little piece. Now, when you want to, you can use up these other pieces that we had, and you can just do a few. You could have 2 in and 2 out. So you can just taper it down, upwards and downwards like so, and have these short at that end. You can snip them off because they're only little strips. You can use your little pieces. Please, you know, don't waste anything. So I'm going to take some of these down. I might actually take a little bit off there. I can't use a little one, can I? Because I want to do it with a little bit of black either side. I might take 2 of those off now. Sorry, girls. I'd have thought. I get carried away. Once you stick in it, it just like keeps going. I will use those and carry on along my strips. And then I'm going to square this off. So I'm going to square this off to my smallest point in the middle there. Okay, and that can go in the bin. They're just the oddments. And then this one, take that off. We're on 8 centimetres. It's a whole number. There we go. And so this one here, to the smallest. So you're going to go halfway between those two, because we're all in ½ centimetres. If you're in inches, you can do it at 1/4 inch, or even if you want the little ones, when I said ½ centimetre, I would go to 1/8 inch. You just get a smaller pattern. It takes you longer. But I've got that, got a piece falling off there somewhere. We'll just find a little piece there. Lost one along the way. It's not that one, is it? It'll be this one. So that one I can just fill that little gap in. We missed an end. Okay. I'm going to let that set for a little while. Okay, I won't cut that straight off, but then I'll get my snips on there. Okay, so that panel can come on here with maybe a white border. This is where we go black on white or white on black. So there's the black, and maybe with a white layer behind it, like so. Or we can go a white card with a little black layer behind it. So you're voting now for the base card. Okay, I think I prefer a black card with a little white border, just to break it up nicely like so. Okay, so that's what I think I'll do. So I have another piece of card here. So now this is probably dried by now, the tombow on there. So if I snip that evenly along the bottom. Okay, I don't want to waste a whole base card, so I'm just going to use this piece here. And I'll measure again to see what length this is. I know the width I think was 8. This was 12.5. So 12.5, I want another ½ centimetre, so I'll go 13 that way. And 8, so I want 8.5. So 13 by 8.5. Okay. 13 this way. And then 8.5 this way. Okay. All those pieces go in my scrap pot. They don't get thrown away. Just wipe my hands again. Love my Tombow to bits, but it does get to us at times. So there we go. Make sure you've got no little overhanging edges. There's a little tiny piece on here, I think. I can see, probably too small for you to see on the camera. Just a little wisp in that corner. Okay, but that's gone. So that's going to go in the middle of my layer here. Okay. Yes, black base. Well done, Angela. That's what I'm just going for. Great minds think alike. Okay, so stick that one down. So that's called Bargello, and it was a stitch whereby you went over so many rows of your IADA or your open work thread. So you were doing long stitches, and something I used to do. I did a pin cushion with it sometime. I'll try and dig that out and show you my pin cushion. When I take the photo of this card, I'll send you a photo of my pin cushion. I think because of all the pieces, and I want to keep it flat, I think I'll just keep it nice and solid. Okay, go around that. There we go, a little scribble in the middle. And there is my piece down and centre. I know I'm on a black board here, so I'll just nudge that a little bit. I think I'm not quite straight. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. So that's all nice and secure now. So there is our piece. So there is our pattern. So it can be, you can either do it going acrossways on your card, all the way like this, zigzaggy across, or you can do it landscape, because it gives you that zigzag down. Okay, are you liking that? Very pretty, Sandra. Oh, bless. I wish, Carol, hubby and I have COVID. Oh dear, Shaz. Where did you catch that one? Oh, never seen this done before. It's a technique. It's very effective. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Wow, longer retreat this time. So now it's just a case of, right, what would we like to do with our decoration? I haven't kind of really given this much thought, but I've got a stamp set somewhere. This one. What I was thinking was I will do a greeting. I have a thanks here that was just left onto a block, and I don't know which stamp this was from. The other day, I know I used... Wednesday, we had awful signal. We had a lot of issues with it. It might have been off here. And I grabbed a stamp set. I did. I grabbed a stamp set that was on my desk, and I realised afterwards it's actually a retired one. This is the Magnolia, Good Morning Magnolia. And it was out on my desk because I've got two missing dies, and I was trying to find the middles. And it's the hello or the thanks off here. But any sentiment would work. I could actually put that away and just use this one. Stick you back in there. This was one that I had out on the table I got out to use tonight. I like these greetings. They're nice and neat. They're cute. It's a nice font, but they're a little bit small for my card. I kind of want something a little bit bigger, and we can have that going like a scripty one going through the middle. So I could do thank you from that one instead, or just a note. Just a note might look good. So this is good. It's going to very quickly let me mount these stamps for you. So these are rubber ones. You can tell Sandra hasn't christened these ones. Thank you is in there, I believe. It's so scripty, I can't. It looks like thank you to me. It's that way up. Oh dear, this is bad. There's the T. I'm going to have to stamp this one to make sure. That's the A-N-K in there. That's definitely the scrolly T at this end. But look at that U. Can you see that one there? That U. It looks like a scribbly coming round, but that is definitely the one. Now I need to find it on here. So thank you is this one here. So I take off both of these. Okay. Oops, a daisy. All of our stamps are on the back. There's a slit down the middle. That's one direction or other. There's a slit over there. So I peel these off. Okay, leave this flat on the table, perfectly flat. And then we peel the backing off this one. And just be careful if it's a symmetrical pattern. This you can obviously tell by the shape. And I line that up on one of the corners. And I line this up under here. I can see that that is going to line up on there. And then I take my block on the back and I rub it over. Okay, and then I peel it off. And that's perfect. And there we go. My blocks need a clean as well after this week. So I have a piece of this with my white card. I cut a piece off somewhere. That won't fit on there. Piece out of here. That one. I don't need my mat. I've got my mat nearby, but I don't need my mat because it's a rubber stamp, so it's got that cushion in there already. So Pacific Point is one of our colours. Okay. Just going to stamp it on the back of this piece of mat, the grid paper. Just make sure I've got a nice good impression as it's the first time I've inked them. Sometimes you get a bit of manufacturer sort of like dust or just something from, you know, just a film over there. You might want to just remove when you're using it for the first time or just clean them before you start. It's fine. You like the vertical too. There we go. Look at that lovely sentiment. And that is current. Couldn't use a retired one two sessions on the trot, could I? So the backing of these, I don't keep those. They just go straight in the bin. And we can bring little machine back. And we can make this a little matte layer. Okay, we can trim it down as we need. As long as we've got it straight on our sentiment. That is our anchor line. And we can just do the same distance all the way around the edge. Again, using our lines down here to make sure it's nice and straight. And I use my edge of my plate here just to make sure that the edges are even. So there's my nice little plaque to go in the centre. And I think because it's the colour challenge, I think I'd like to put something behind that as well. We can see a lot of this colour going on, but I might... Let's see. Would a blue be too much? Or would that go? Or we could do it with a black. Little scrap of black here. We could mount that on a piece of black as well, couldn't we? So if that goes with a little small black border around it, that's kind of like all you need on that card, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to take that down just to those outside edges. Okay, I'm only placing it on at the moment so I can really truly get it in the centre. Turning it around. I've got that gap at the top there, that's what I'm aiming for, I think. Move you out of the way, keep it straight. Down that. And just test. Do it over here so you can see me. A black card on a black board does not really go well, does it? I think that's good. There we go. Maybe want a little smidgen off that, just a weeniest little bit. A tiny, tiny little drop. Long enough to see though, Sandra. There we go. Take that little bit off and we will stick. Okay, so tweezers come out so I can hold it. I haven't got a corner rounder or anything, but something when you get an angular design like this, sometimes I like just to have nice, clean, straight edges. Holding my breath because it's a black board. Trying to get that in the centre. If I bring that back, you'll be able to see it nicely. Okay, so I think I'll put some pads on there. You're loving it. Excellent. And you agree, somebody agreed with me on black on the background. It just makes it bounce out, doesn't it? And then, of course, I've got the dilemma. Do I put it in the centre or do I put it over to one side? can kind of get the gist of that pattern coming through, can't you? From the edges. Or, hey, do we do it that way? What do you think? Landscape or vertical? Landscape, portrait. I think it probably looks better. Portrait. Yeah, landscape, sorry. Got the time it takes me to get these off. I've kept you long enough. And my watch is going to die on me. I can't say, look, it's low power. It's 1:45 anyway. So there we go. We can either go this way. And you can see the up and down pattern. Vertical landscape. You see, everybody's going to just not going to agree. Oh dear. I think I like it like that. And you can kind of get the gist that that's coming through. I might... I'm going to go central, aren't I? Going to go central there. It's down. There we go. Decision made. So there's a very simple card. Now, if you have got some little flowers, I'm not going to keep you any longer tonight, but if you had got something like these little flowers, there's a punch for this. You could dig those out and actually punch some little flowers just to put a little bit around the corners, just to give you a little accent, a little bit of detail. Thanks, Lynette. 2 landscapes to 1 vertical. Just as well, isn't it? I've done that. There we go. So I hope you like that. It's a nice technique and it's great for scraps. Now, I've got scrap pots sitting on my desk here. Any colours work. Just put your own colour combination together, cut some strips. I cut far too many. We didn't need that many tonight, did we? And I ended up trimming it out. But it's entirely up to you. Okay. So hope you enjoy having a play at that. And you can see how the pattern zigzags through. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Okay. This one's only bigger because it's got the whole pattern. So, yeah, I like that. So hopefully you've enjoyed that as well. I'm going to bring you back to me here somewhere. Definitely landscape. Had to be, didn't it, Angela? There we go. So I'll pop a photo of that up for you and say thank you for watching me. Please, you could join me. And hopefully I'll have some newcomers from today. Fab card. Thanks, Claire. It's lovely. You know me, I love doing things on the fly of my pants, but I had that in my head to use for that colour challenge. So I will see you all on Wednesday, exactly the same. And we will have something else on Wednesday's card. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I will rebuild my room tomorrow, make it all nice and tidy again, and then it will be a nice fresh day or evening.